Hello and welcome everyone to the second SSCAIT 2022/23 Elimination Bracket broadcast. Today I'll be your host, Chobo Swaggins, aka Jealous on Team Liquid, and we'll be continuing the first round of the tournament where Nightcat left off last week. As a quick reminder, tomorrow Nightcat will be back and will be casting Winners Round 2 at the regular broadcast time, while I will be casting on Saturdays leading up to the finals. So you get double the SSC AIT content for the month of February. With that out the way, let's take a look at our competitors. First up, we have Monster versus Microwave, a ZVZ we saw in the opening round of last year's tournament, which went 3-1 in favor of Monster. Monster, of course, won last year's tournament with a clean 7-0 sweep of the other favorite at the time, Stardust, who is currently seated 4th. And had recently defeated Xiaoyi COG in Nightcat's last broadcast. And here they are. Monster is actually the second seed because Crazio's strong performance in the round robin stage. Let's see if Microwave can take the reigning champ to the limit this year. So, in the top right on Tau Cross, we have Microwave spawning as the purple Zerg, and at the 5 o'clock position we have Monster spawning as the teal Zerg. So ZVZ, for those of you who might not be familiar, generally centers around Zerglings and Mutalisks. A lot of games are decided incredibly early, and it's possible that this will be the case here. The opening build orders are a little rock, paper, scissors, but of course with great control and great management, the rock, paper, scissors can be broken and reversed. Infamously, Jadong used the 12 hatch to be a 4-5 pull, I believe. What you just saw there was called the extractor trick. It's in order to force an extra drone to come out early to improve the supply, improve the economy prematurely almost of the Zerg player. Microwave did not opt to do that, is going up to 12 drones first. In the meantime, Monster went for a 10 hatch. So we're seeing the separation between the two players already. It's going to be a pool first for Microwave, but using the additional economy that they initially invested in, and I definitely thought that I skipped this track. I'm going to skip it now. The Teal Zerg here is going to be going for a slightly later pool. As you see, the pool is going to finish just after the opponent. However, they are going to be having the second hatchery much earlier than the opponent. The opponent is going for a natural hatchery at the front, which is actually a bit greedy, I would say. It's a little bit risky, but it also gives you access to that second gas. And in the meantime, Monster choosing to stay inside the main base got enough gas just for the Zergling speed upgrade, and is keeping a kind of almost a concave here. Let's see how the micro goes. Zerglings run in to check on the enemy's position, and they find an army of Zerglings way larger than their own Microwave does. Microwave continuing to produce Zerglings. This is the right move here, adding a colony, hopefully at the natural. No, in fact, the colony is going to be here in the main base. That is a very, very strange decision, I think. Having the colony at the front would have helped to defend against this superior Zerglings numbers. Let's take a look at what those numbers are right now. We have actually 18 Zerglings against 13 Zerglings of Microwave, so this could be a very fast game indeed. With superior numbers, the Zerglings generally do win, and it also comes down to engagement, of course, so you have to have a good concave. Getting free hits right now is Monster, gets a good surround on a bunch of Zerglings, is definitely taking the better engage here. 24 Zerglings, 3 Zerglings left, and yeah, this is Rapperoni for, unfortunately for our friend, the the challenger Microwave is who is going to go down 0-1. Now, I somehow managed to navigate away from my replay, so you're going to pardon me for having it be off the center right now, but I have to go find those replays again, so give me 1 second. Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, the game's still not over, but I think it's pretty over. Layers coming up with no economy left. There's only 4 larvae which are listed there, and yeah, now is GG. So yeah, that's a very quick first ZVZ. It's a great introduction to what ZVZs look like. You have more Zerglings than your opponent, and sometimes you just win. So, let's move into the next game right away. We have Monster spawning at 6 o'clock on destination as the Orange Zerg, and Microwave spawning at the 12 o'clock position as the Purple Zerg, or I guess maybe 11 and 5 might be more accurate. Let's see if we're going to have the same build orders here. So, if you recall, Microwave went for 12 drones into a hatchery, into a spawning pool, into a hatchery, whereas Monster went for the early hatchery inside the main base, with the spawning pool coming later. This proved to be the advantageous position. Both hatcheries were not used for economy. That's the main difference here. Microwave placed their second hatchery at the natural, expecting to go Mutalisks at the end, but Monster kept the hatchery in the main base because they knew that they were just going to use it to pump Zerglings. So now we're going to start seeing if there's going to be a difference. Yes, indeed, we're going to see a 9 pull from Monster and a 9 pull from Microwave, which is really great planning here. It's a 2-player map as opposed to the 3-player map we had in the first round, so you're much more likely, you're going to know where your enemy is, and you have to play a bit safer as a result, because it gives strategies that are more aggressive, like 5 pool, a lot more not availability, what's the proper term for it? It makes it more plausible, more possible, and actually both of them are going for 1 hatch layer, and the builds are basically even. It looks like Monster is going to think about being aggressive with the Zerglings, though. Both players are also going to confirm that it is indeed a mirror build. The only difference so far is that it looks like, I think that Microwave's managed to slip in an extra drone there. Actually 2, cut on some Zergling numbers, but what's concerning me is that they're not trying to hold the ramp. I think holding the ramp here is going to be crucial. Monster adding the drones a little bit later, but does have the supply lead. Now it's supply even. Sunken colony up. We need to see a spore colony. I'm sorry, not spore colony, a spire. Spire is going down for both players. 10 workers apiece. Different methods of getting there, but looking at the gas, it looks like Microwave's approach might have been actually superior, looking at the gas count here. Superior gas count, of course, allowing you to produce more Mutalisks. Earlier on, you can even opt to go for Scourge first, and then you can take out the enemy's overlords, which forces them to spend their third resource, which is larva, and the first 2, of course, being minerals and gas, to replace those overlords, while you yourself are able to freely use your limited third resource in order to continue producing air units such as Mutalisks. It looks like both players are going to opt for 3 mutas at the start, but if, as you can see here, Monster's eco balance is a little bit more towards the mineral heavy side as opposed to the gas heavy side. This does allow them to add a second hatchery, which is a powerful tool here, but as you notice, they don't have enough money to make an additional Mutalisk on time yet. So that's actually a little bit of a, maybe not exactly a misplay, but let's look at how the micro turns out in this game. Microwave kiting the Mutalisks from Orange. Now got caught a little bit. Nice micro here. The micro from Monster definitely much more reminiscent of human play, where you keep all your Mutalisks all up in a stack, whereas Microwave tried to do a chasing shot. Both did, and the Mutalisk actually managed to snipe that one. Oh, another snipe here, and I think this is going to be Microwave's game. Just based on the fact that the Mutalisk count is superior for him. Evolution Chamber is coming up for Orange, who's going to try to defend with Spore Colonies, but I think it's too little too late. The Mutalisk count is too superior. The superior gas number is really paying off here. They agreed with going for a second hatchery this time, not paying off for Monster, and paying off for Microwave instead. Zerglings are going to be here in force, but the Mutalisks are going to be able to take that out. That's actually quite a lot of Zerglings still left, but now the colony is not going to be able to finish, and yeah, this is an absolute stomp by Microwave. Very well done, and even Monster knows it, leaving the game early there. So 1-1 so far in our ZVZ series. Let's go to the next game, and I don't know why, but it seems that we're again going to be on destination. Not sure if that was an error or if that's intentional somehow, but we have Monster spawning again at the 5 o'clock position as the light blue Zerg, and we have Microwave spawning at the 11 o'clock position as the teal Zerg. So let's see what the builds are going to be this time. Maybe they're going to adjust based on the previous game. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any differences there. What's interesting is that actually Monster seems to be making their drone a little bit earlier. Maybe slightly better mineral efficiency, or maybe it's just an older map, so mineral efficiency isn't exactly equal, but Monster's slightly ahead, and both players go for Overlord first this time. both players going for an overpool. I think I said 9 pool last time. I think it was actually an overpool. So yeah, additional drones and gas now. Additional drones as well. It's going to try to save larva. Actually, I don't think this is enough to save larva right now. Actually, looking at this, I don't think they'll be able to make 6 zerglings as soon as the pool finishes. But I could be wrong. It might be just enough. It might be just enough here. Nope, 2 zerglings, 3 zerglings slightly delayed for both players. The third Zergling at least, but not an issue here. And we're seeing again a very similar start here. We're seeing 10 workers, 6 Zerglings, and we're going into, oops, my jacket fell, going into 1 hatch layer. So basically a reskin of last game, I think. This time, yeah, it's looking very similar so far. It's going to be interesting to see if it plays out exactly the same way. There was a question not too long ago whether or not 2AI doing the same builds on the same map. The question was in the Discord, by the way, which you can find in the description below. Anyway, they asked if the AI would play exactly the same way, but there's actually a lot of under the hood random factors in this game, where the two games are not going to play out the same way because the game is not deterministic. There's slight variations in how units move, collide. Uh, there's neutral critters running around that can block your path, like Panda Bear guy here. Um, Continuing to make Zerglings is monster. Might be what doomed them last time, to be honest with you. But the gas balance again, definitely in favor of microwave. So it looks like monster just really likes the build that they're going for. They're gonna probably throw down that second hatchery anytime now. 300 minerals floating in the bank. Looks like both of them are going to be producing 3 Mulisks. Microwave slightly slower to the Mulisk this time, but with the travel distance, it should not matter. Second hatch now going into the natural. Interesting. And the army count's still ahead, and it's actually adding Scourge now, a monster is. That's really, really interesting stuff. In human hands, Scourge are very effective because they can chase down Mutalisks. At very good Mutalisks, unfortunately. Oh, actually, ooh, stray Overlord here. I like how the fact that the Scourge did not try to engage there. Anyway, yeah, in human hands, Scourge are devastating because the Scourge can almost entirely take out a single Mutalisk, but it's much, much cheaper than that. However, in bot hands, when they can freely kite the Scourge, I don't know how effective they're going to be. See, the Scourge are going to try to chase down these Mutalisks. They change their mind. Oh, let's see, picked off. Oh, it actually, I think it hit. Yeah, that was a hit. That was sloppy. So, not yeah, I think that is worth. I mean, 2 Scourge is 25 minerals, 75 gas. Bring down that Mutalisk to 10 HP, I believe, is worth it. And a bunch of Lings going down as well. So it looks like Monster is actually holding on in this game and has the more economic build now as well with 2 hatcheries. Does not have an evolution chamber this time because they haven't lost so much. Notice by contrast, Microwave has placed the hatchery on the high ground here. It's more defensive, but they don't have access to that second gas for later in the game. He is mining, well, rather, they are mining. It is mining the this 0 mineral pile. It's actually, I think, 8 minerals that are stacked there that you have to mine each one of them in order to be able to open that back door. But throughout that time, I mean, given the fact that there's only 9 workers, this is a huge hit to your eco. This is an 11% or whatever, 14% or something loss of economy there just to be mining out that back door that you're not going to use because it's going to be mostly an air battle. And let's see how that air battle goes. That first damage Mutalisk looks like it went down. Splitting up is Microwave. Monster is trying to hunt down individual Mutalisks. Let's look at the HPs here. I should have been doing this a long time ago, and wow, yeah, Microwave gets cleaned up by Monster this time. It goes in a different direction. I think that second hatchery production might have come into play here. Yeah, and now it's over. The Zerglings are going to run in, and you have to feel that Monster played way better this time than in the previous, and Microwave maybe slipped up a couple times. So yeah, I think that this game is just about over, and I need to cough. I think that the in-game sounds were actually a little bit louder than I wanted them to because I had balanced it based on the drone, so audio issues aside, I'm hoping that this will be more balanced now. Hopefully you guys were able to hear me during those first few games. Hopefully I didn't pull a Nightcat. Just kidding, sorry if you're watching. But yeah, this game's over. There's no coming back from this. One drone, we can just skip ahead. So 2-1 for Monster ahead of Microwave. Let's see the next game. The next game is going to be on La Mancha. And Microwave is spawning at the top right as the orange Zerg, and at the bottom left we have Monster as the white Zerg. So, will this be the game where Microwave evens it out, or is this Monsters series after all? Um, Winning again 3-1, just like in the previous tournament. So let's find out. Interesting choice to diagonal scout here from Microwave. Generally speaking, you do want to scout towards the nearest natural with your overlords just to see if maybe there is a faster hatchery or Nexus first, something like that. In this case, it is a bigger map, so it is also interesting to see that they both went for overpooled gas again. Maybe that's what their learning has taught them about each other, that even on larger maps where the rush distances are longer and the air distance is very long as well, notably. And actually, ooh, drone scout from Microwave. I didn't notice that. I don't think that there's a drone scout from Monster, and again, this is a big economic difference when there's only 10 workers, you know? Both going for 6 Zerglings now. Looks like Microwave is going to do the Z scout, like scouted this way. Now he's going to scout that way. He's going to know it's in the bottom left. Not going to be aware of what's coming towards him, though. Overlord is just going to miss those Zerglings leaving. The drone again finds nothing there. Bad luck on that one. One Zergling checking the bottom right, it seems. Or no, the other main. And ooh, interesting decision making here from the Zerglings. Probably running back, afraid of Zerglings coming forward from the enemy at this point. The Overlord is now going to see this. Where'd that drone go, actually? Now I'm curious. That's a Zergling. Did the drone perish? Maybe that's what those Zerglings went to go look into. But in the meantime, we do have a Spire coming up already for Monster. Spire has been delayed again from Microwave, and it's actually quite significantly behind this time. Still not going to make up for the traveling distance. But again, Microwave is higher on gas, lower on minerals, and lower on Zergling count. So it's going to be interesting to see how the one hatch Mutalisk plays match up this time. You can consider it a best of 3 of one hatch Muta plays. Microwave's Mutalisks are going to be up soon. I said that a little early. Yep, 3 Mutals right on the dot. Nicely done. Putting drones back on gas at the time in order to maintain Mutalisk production. Definitely a more balanced build here, but again, on one gas you will eventually run out of Mutalisks if you keep pumping them faster than you'll run out of minerals. So and by run out of gas I mean running out of the gas that you got from here, and strangely enough pulling 3 drones off gas now to switch back to the minerals. That is interesting. First Mutas are here now to be aggressive. Next Muta is already on the way for Microwave, and let's slow it down to catch this Micro. Neither side seeming to want to commit yet. Zergling's checking for expansions. Overlord is still camped out here. If you notice that my Monster has run away there, Overlord, so this might have been a contributing factor in the last game. Now that I think about it, the loss of that Overlord, again, it's a loss of not just the Overlord and the minerals and the fact that you have to rebuild it. It's also a loss of supply and production. And the larva too. So yeah, I feel like interesting that Monster's not choosing to take out this Overlord, maybe hoping to protect the Zerglings against the Mutas that are coming in. But I think that we can actually call that an oversight, if I'm going to be honest. The Mutas spot the Scourge. They're going to start trying to kite back. Let's try to look at that. Yes, good kite, good kite. I think that Muta's, is it injured from before? Yeah, it's in the yellow. If it was in the red, that means that it was hit. Let me see if I can try to select that one. Yeah, injured from before, not from recent engagements. So forward hatchery from Monster here, and this is what is kind of the risk of putting that second hatchery at the natural, because it can get punished by Zerglings and Mutalisks. Scared is the enemy Zerg because there is a Mutalisk deficit, 1 Mutalisk less. I think it might be because of that game gas balancing, and losing a hatchery, pretty big situation here. I'm guessing this is an Evo chamber. Let's double check. Yes, indeed, Evo chamber, and woo, forced some idle time from the drones. Losing some Zerglings though is Microwave, and still Muta advantage. He should be going in with these Mutas, I think, trying to pick off extra drones. This drone is quite exposed. Running away though, maybe not able to ascertain the situation quite exactly, or maybe overvaluing evaluating the value of Zerglings or something. I don't know. Interesting why the superior Mutalisk numbers are not choosing to engage. Maybe worried about the presence of a spore colony that they haven't seen, but now that spore is indeed up. Sniping that drone is still probably worth it, I think, especially given the fact that there is a muta advantage. And I'm honestly really surprised by the number of Zerglings that Monster has made here. 19 Zerglings. It's quite a lot. Um, and surprised that there's no engaging here, so I'm going to speed it up a bit, hopefully. What is, in the meantime, what is Monster doing? Same high ground hatch, actually quite far away from this here. Okay, maybe, wait, what? Okay, that was an enemy Zergling. Okay, is this Overlord going to die? No. Muta count is even. No, I said muta count is even, but Orange still ahead in Mutalisk count. Um, ooh, definitely wants to take that Overlord, though. Maybe the other ones are in transit. That's what the problem is. Ooh, got the drone. Got another drone. Nice pickoffs here from Monster. I'm sorry, from Microwave. Microwave is still down in workers after that, though. Um, what's going on here? It's Zerglings chasing Zerglings. No additional production. Yeah, the gas is very low now for Microwave because they're at 12 Mutalisks now. I'm really curious. Oh, I guess. Oh, Monster can't get gas because he doesn't have enough air, what's called superiority to defend to easily claim it. And he's actually going for a hatchery. I thought for a second that this might be a spore colony. The spore colony does not cover the gas. It's a very crucial situation here. I think a spore colony here might have even been better, even if it messes with pathing a bit. But it could mess with it in a really bad way. But we're kind of stuck in bot limbo right now, where it seems like neither player. Well, technically, Monster can't really do very much, but Microwave doesn't feel certain of its victory despite the air superiority, and probably due to the presence of the spore colony. But I would have liked to see maybe like attack the gas. You know, if you just take out that gas, eventually you'll get so many Mutalisks that the enemy can't do anything. And would have been nice to see them expand behind this too. Microwave, 500 minerals floating. Yep, there's the hatchery now. Nice. Spore colony is up now, so it's going to be harder to apply pressure. Definitely don't want to take any excess damage. Now up to 10 Mutalisks is Monster against the 16 of Microwave. Up to 11 now is Monster. So yeah, we've still got a game on our hands. Mutalisk's trying to chase down this Zergling. Instead, they've given up on killing the enemy. Got him finally, and there's another Zergling here. More Zerglings here. But the expansion is coming up. No expansion yet for Monster. Remember that they did lose that first attempt at an expansion. And yeah, I think we're going to be dancing here for a while, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit more even. Because this is, as much as riveting as the action is when it happens, sometimes bots end up kind of overthinking things, I think, or being too cautious, because it's easy to throw away a game. Oh, that drone wants to expand it. Oh, what a blunder to let that go. 21 mutas. Okay, we got 18 to 18 mutas now. That was the moment that I think Monster was waiting for. Now Monster has a muta superiority even. Somehow out of nowhere, Microwave letting this game slip out of their hands. But then again, 27 workers versus 20. Is the air superiority going to be pushed better by Monster? And Monster taking a third base behind this. Very nicely done. And so is Microwave. So now we're getting into almost, I don't want to say uncharted territory, because it does happen, of course, that people go beyond layer tech and ZVZ, but I think that's what we might be looking at. We do have the Queen's Nest on the way. Let's look at the upgrades, actually. One armor for Monster. That might be a contributing factor as well. With one armor, I believe it's something like a 1 Mutalisk advantage out of 10 question mark. So like 10 mutas beat no, 9 mutas beat 10 mutas without armor. I think that's the case here. So yeah, even though superior numbers for Microwave, superior upgrades for Monster, and Hive on the way. With Hive, we could start seeing stuff like Queens with Ensnare. We could start seeing Devourers with the Acid Spores, which increase the amount of damage done. But are we going to get that far? We got Zerglings running in trying to do damage, and now the game's going very quickly. I'm going to slow it down a bit. Scourge coming in. It looks like they got the hits there, actually. Spore Colony very well placed by underneath these Overlords. Oh, the Zergling runs in. Is that Spore Colony almost dead? I think that Spore Colony is almost dead. Could have taken one more shot, but didn't want to lose the Mutalisk numbers. Still more Zerglings being made by Monster as well, trying to keep their economy down. This hatchery actually got hurt really bad by Zerglings earlier, and action everywhere. Now this hatchery is under attack. Where are the Mutalisks? Mutalisks are over here. They're not engaging the drones back here. The Mutalisks need to make decisions soon. Taking out Spore Colonies is Microwave. I would have preferred to maybe see the hatchery attack, to be honest, to curb that gas income. But in the meantime, this is what's happening here. The kiting battles. It looks like Monster choosing to go for drones instead. 39 to 29 workers now. And more Zerglings running in now. Still, these mutas are forced to defend here. So even though Monster has more mutas out on the map, the fact that they're split up between two locations is giving Microwave some breathing room. But the eco difference is changing. The hatchery did go down also, though. This hatchery is not long for this world, I think, either. Oh, this is tough. Look at also the larva. Why is there 13 larvae for Monster? Well, I mean, they do have the minerals and gas. Maybe they're being conservative with it, but they definitely could be producing more. 13 larvae idle is a little bit much, even in this match. And ooh, there it is. There's the Devourer being made, I think. No hive, by the way, should be noted for Monster. So let's see. Does the Devourer finish? The Devourer's kind of undefended here. Oh, this could be so bad. Oh no! If it popped out, it would have been at full health. But now it's 3 free Mutalisks, and that could be a deciding moment. Oh, the Scourge, did it get a hit there? I think it did. I think I heard the attack notification, but it sounds... well, at least the attack sound. Ooh, those Devourers were poorly placed. You needed those defensively somewhere, maybe behind the Spore Colonies. Fall back for a little bit. No, leaving them out here is just begging for them to die. Oh man, the Mutalisks are going to spot them. They're going to fly back. They're going to try to push now. But no, it's 26 mutas to 12 mutas now. The loss of those 3 was pivotal, and I don't think a Devourer is going to change things much here. Sorry for the jerky movement there for a second. Devourer running in, already almost dead. Does get a hit off, and already dead. And oof, yeah, I feel like Microwave was so close to a W here, especially in the early game where they had the Mutalisk advantage before the Spore Colony came out. But I don't think it's gonna... No, yeah, now Microwave is at half the workers of Monster. The situation is looking very, very dire. And I think this might be GG. This third base is going to get denied now, and this one is going to go up. And yeah, it looks like Microwave, unfortunately, is going to go down 3-1 to Monster yet again. I'm going to speed it up now because, I mean, the difference is 2-1 in almost all metrics. So basically no coming back from this for Microwave. Really interesting. I mean, maybe when looking at it slower, we'll be able to better determine what led to this situation. But I do think it's a combination of not being aggressive enough with those early Mutalisks, maybe a little bit too cavalier with the placement of the Devourer cocoons, not utilizing them properly, the investment into Hive not paying off, which could have translated into more Mutalisks, not being able to defend the third base, taking down the enemy third base maybe a little bit later than necessary. So a combination of a lot of things. But yeah, this is now, it's a wrapperoni. Monster is peaking at 50,000 APM, is going to start taking down the buildings one by one. And I don't think we need to see this. We can leave it running in the background to get those sounds. Oh, sorry, these are the previous year's tournaments. We're going to be looking at this one, and we can report the score. Monster 3-1. So moving on to the next match. Alright, we're gonna mute it so we don't have Zergling sounds while we're discussing the next match, which is Halpan versus Steamhammer. Another first round rematch from last year where the Terran Halpan beat the Zerg Steamhammer with a decisive 3-0. Will we see a continuation of the round 1 3-0 trend, both between these competitors and in the top of the bracket? Notably, Microwave did, however, break that pattern. Sorry about that, got a little confused about the order of the replays there. So here we have Steamhammer spawning at the, let's say 2 o'clock base on Roadrunner. And we have Halpan spawning as the Brown Terran at the 8 o'clock base. And sending out a very early scout here. This is something that we do see often in AI games. They're more focused on finding their opponent fast. But this does not look like a find your opponent fast SCV. This looks like I'm building a barracks SCV, and yes, indeed. Are we going to see 2 barracks or 1? That is a critical question, because we already see a spawning pool from Steamhammer. Looks like it was a 9 pool, I don't want to lie. I do think it came up first, before the Overlord, rather. Um, so 9 pool is actually, as far as I know, it's not bad against forward racks, because forward racks is just 1 barracks full of marine pumping. You get 6 zerglings. Forward racks is really meant to capitalize on greedier zerg builds, like Overlord first builds, or hatchery first builds, or Overlord drones and then hatchery builds. In those cases, having that extra marine, extra short walking distance can make the difference between a bunker going up and marines getting into it or not. But in this case, Halpan is going to realize that no, indeed, there is no natural hatchery, and the Zerglings are going to start streaming forward. The drone has discovered the enemy. I think the Marine is going to get caught out, and no lift and no additional production from the Terran player here. So little dicey here. The Marines do have to run back. There is a bunker on the ramp. They probably need SCVs to block this ramp now, but the bunker might be a little bit too far. This barracks definitely needs to lift if it doesn't want to go down. Yeah, absolutely. And bought itself enough time to put the Marines in the bunker. So good defense, but definitely the investment was a, let's say, didn't pay off for Halpan. In the meantime, behind the Steamhammer has gone for 1 hatch layer, which seems to be a theme so far over the past few games. 1 hatch layer into lurkers. Now lurkers are incredibly effective against Marines and medics because they have that linear splash attack, can take out, I don't know, a bajillion Marines in 1 volley from 2 lurkers. But they're not so great at pushing up a ramp. They are much better at pushing up a ramp when the enemy doesn't have detection. However, the Vulture is now aware of the fact that there are lurkers here. It should probably try to micro down these lings and try to run into the main base. The Vulture could take down drones in here, but lurkers see they're trying to push up, but they got hurt pretty bad. Now they are going to see uphill. Yeah, okay, they got a spot. They need a spot with more vision. Having an Overlord here would be helpful, but ooh, no vision, no vision. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. The Vulture still trying to control the middle, is taking out Zerglings. We do have a siege tank now as well. Still no detection though. That is the crucial aspect here. If those lurkers ever get inside the base, Halpan is going to be in a lot of danger. But siege tanks in siege mode can also one-shot these stacked lurkers, I think. So lots of repairs going down. When is the detection going to come in though? We need detection now. We're getting an armory. We need to be getting an academy, an engineering bay. Steamhammer in the meantime though is taking the natural. The Vulture has made it into the main base finally, and the drones are panicking. The drones and the lurker doesn't know what to do. The lurker needs to be doing zone defense instead of doing whatever it is doing, which is running around. It needs to be burrowed here and preventing the Vulture from taking out these drones. But the Vulture is going to do so with the superhuman APM, and finally we're getting an academy on this front. But the lurkers, they just straight up can't push up against this mass now. Earlier in the game, maybe they could have sacrificed 1 lurker or sent in the Zerglings first to take the heat, and then the lurkers run in, and then Halpan would be just as dead as Steamhammer is now. But with no drones and not enough money to make drones, I think this game is dead. All we need now is a scan or a tower. We do have the academy, but we're still pumping SCVs. Interesting. Definitely do need to scan. Maybe it's a build that they have not encountered that often, and finally we're getting the scan. And I think after we get that scan off, Halpan is going to close this out in a game that honestly could have gone either way. Yeah, boom, boom, all the lurkers are dead. There is still one over here. Only a trained professional StarCraft player can catch that lurker hiding on the dark terrain. Look at that. That's crazy, right? But anyway, needs to wait for another scan, and at that point I think that Steamhammer is going to know, yeah, 0 supply of 34, and yeah, that's a GG. Tight, tight, tight game. Very tight, very scary. So, moving into game 2, we have, again, same map. It's very interesting that we have it like this. I'm not sure what to make of that, but I mean, we have Steamhammer spawning as the orange Zerg yet again at 2 o'clock. Halpan spawning at 5 o'clock as the blue Terran. So yeah, let's see if we have a repeat of last game. Halpan, I think, maybe doesn't realize how lucky they got with what happened in that game. This time going for a slightly more conservative barracks placement, but also is going to get scouted first. In the meantime, similar build from Steamhammer going for that early gas. So again, the Marines are not going to be that strong. I think that once has the SCV scattered this? Yeah, the Marine needs to pull back. I don't know where you're going, buddy. Without a bunker at the front, I mean, it has to know that these Zerglings are coming. It needs that bunker up now, and it needs Marines pumping into it. I wonder what the thought process is here. Oh, but the Zerglings glitch out as they were trying to chase down this Marine. Bunker is going to be started very late. No more additional Marine production. We already have Lair and Lurker on the way, and I think that this time the build is going to go off because of the fact that the bunker is not going to go up. And I think that that other Marine was probably sent to the top left in order to try to snipe an Overlord that is scouting, but is it worth dying for? These Zerglings are going to kill a ton of SCVs, even though the SCVs are very beefy. This bunker must come up, but I'm not sure it will. Marines are microing now. The triangle micro is good. And now we're having Hydras come forward. So one of the downsides of the fact that we're going for fast lurkers here is that, first of all, we don't have a lot of production, and second of all, we had to cut ling production. If you're going for a ling rush and you walk into an enemy's base and you deny their bunker, usually you can kind of just win. But, oh my god, the bunker is not being completed now that I notice. Is it ever going to be completed? Do we have, what is this? It's another bunker, double bunker. I'm not sure if that's very good, given the fact that the barracks is here and we only have one Marine here, but the Vulture is again aware of the lurkers. Would be great if there was some sort of system that said, hey, I see lurker eggs, must immediately throw down detection tools, because that is my human gut reaction to that. It's like, I see lurker eggs, usually I didn't expect them because I'm bad, and yeah, ooh, this seems like a better ramp to go up now. That bunker is definitely toast. The lurkers found the sweet spot. And yeah, now the lurkers are achieving what they're meant to achieve, and the bunkers are going to go down. And yeah, we're going to see the same builds play out in completely different ways here, I think. I mean, tanks do outrange lurkers, so they're going to force a lot of slow burrowing, but with a lack of detection here, I think this game this is going to be a tight series if this pattern continues of these builds. Although, to be fair, it could be a map-specific build as well, right? We did play the same map twice in a row for whatever reason. Interestingly enough, I don't know what the reason for that is, but I think I probably knew, but I forgot. Maybe it's just random generated, random choice. Would be interesting if there was a picks and vetoes system, and like they have in Age of Empires 2. I believe they used to have it in Brood War 2, but actually no, I'm not sure about that. I think maybe it was predetermined, but let's see. So, we are actually getting the Academy coming up, which means that detection is on the way soon. Would have been nice to see Siege Mode snipe that SCV when it was standing on top. You can use splash damage to take out those siege tanks. Would have liked to also see Siege Mode stay active, so as soon as these lurkers pop up, when they're not attacking this surprisingly full health. Why is this full health? It's been attacked for so long. What the hell? I'm super confused by that. Oh, we got the first scan, but we weren't sieged up, so therefore we couldn't kill the lurkers, and that's a big no-no. We did lose all our factories, though, I think. Yeah, so that's also a damaging situation. Steamhammer had an economy now going up to 3 bases. Looking quite grim for the Tyrant player now. Yeah, so when the SCV is directly on top of the lurker like that, if you hit it with your siege tank, you can attack the lurkers that are burrowed underneath and deal splash damage to them, and you could possibly kill them that way without detection. But you do need to stay sieged in order to do that, really. One scan with an okay, attack the Zergling. That's not the best move, and still no lurkers dead. Yeah, that's not a good look. And wow, the mutants come in. The mutant switch is going to be devastating here, and that's GG. All she wrote. So 1-1 from Steamhammer and Halpan in this series, and next we have Benzene. I don't know why I'm at the bottom right corner of Benzene. On Benzene, we have Halpan spawning again at, well, sorry, not again. I meant to say again, he's sending his, they are sending their barracks SCV forward. And wow, they're going really far this time. This is very aggressive, yeah. And Steamhammer again going for a 9 pool, and it is a 9 pool this time, not overpool. So yeah, I'm really not liking the fact that Halpan isn't adjusting to the fact that their opponent is going 9 pool. But then again, on Benzene you're not likely to see 9 pool, I think. It's just not something that people do. It's too long of a rush distance. I believe it might be the longest competitive map rush distance, not including islands, of course. Definitely the longest in this map pool, unless I'm mistaken. Interesting that the SCVs managed to glitch out there. You don't like to see that. So let's see how the Marines do this time. The Marine is going to know where the enemy is, but the enemy also knows where you are. Not going to know where the barracks is, but now we have 6 Zerglings coming up. First Marine is going to see that and run away immediately. Yeah, so this is the weakness of this build. And the Zerglings do a weird thing where they get stuck after they do a single attack. This is a bug that does happen sometimes, but this is happening every time, which I think is indicative of perhaps not the best optimization in terms of engaging retreating targets. But again, no bunker, and it looks like Steamhammer is going to take this game again with a straight up Zergling mass. Yep, SCV is going to go down to the Zerglings, and yeah, already Steamhammer is changing the narrative from last year where Halpan won with a 3-0. In this series, it looks like Halpan is starting to struggle a little bit. It is now 2-1 in favor of Steamhammer. So let's go into what could be the final game. We have Steamhammer to the right side of Heartbreak Ridge and Halpan to the left. Let's see if we're going to see another forward SCV going for a forward barracks. I think it's this one that they send in order to do it. Okay, no forward barracks this time. I like that decision. Hopefully we'll get a slightly more stable game this time. In the meantime, let's see what Steamhammer is up to. Oh, we do have a forward SCV. It's just later than the other ones, I think. Oh, that's because the natural is closer. Are we going to the middle? Oh, yeah. Also, note this, right? Now, yes, we do have almost 0 minerals, but we had 192 at one point. I think the priority is to place the barracks down as fast as possible, and if that delays the SCV by a smidge, that's not the end of the world, right? At the same time, we do have the 9 pool from Steamhammer, so same builds yet again. It's going to be interesting to see which way it favors this time. Let's see, gas is up, so yeah, we're going for either speed or layer again. 2 Zerglings. Are we going to get a 6th egg? Nope, we're going straight into layer. So let's see how the early engagements pan out. The SCV, of course, aware of where their Zerglings are coming from. That's a sloppy loss. Could have been running home by now. Marines running home first thing. That I like to see that. Are we going to see a bunker this time, though? No, SCV running forward. Still no bunker. No factory. Hydra Den yet again for the Zerg player. And Zerglings running forward. So again, I think that this is a build that is like, well, technically both builds are pretty abusive, and they're meant to confuse the AI the way that humans do, but the lurker build on one base is just, if you don't have a response to it coded, I think that you will almost never beat it. I think that the bunker and ramp positioning in the first Roadrunner game worked in Halpan's favor here, but so far it's seeming like it was just more of a, I don't want to say luck, because obviously everything that these AIs are doing is intentional and pure skill. Well, there's a reason why they're doing stuff. Let's put it that way, right? And that reason takes a lot of effort to create. But I think that the actual successful hold of the lurkers was an accident in that sense. Here we have the egg positioned between the natural and the main base, and we're going double factory, and we're not getting detection. You see, and this is what it normally looks like when the lurkers just come into the enemy base. And I think Steamhammer is going to nail this one. And, oh man, all 3 of these depots are going to burn down so fast. There's going to be a supply block immediately, I think. Well, okay, not immediately, but it's coming along. 16 out of 10 supply, can't even build any units, feels bad, man. And yeah, that's a wrap. Steamhammer taking the game 3-1 in revenge from last year. So we're not seeing any more 3-0s in this bracket. And we're seeing some upsets, which is nice. Steamhammer, as you see, rated slightly lower in the round robin than Halpan, and again lost last year, but this year coming out on top. For the next series, we're going to be looking at Banana Brain versus Tier Protoss. So unlike the other matches, this is the first time we're seeing them meet up in a round 1. And yeah, Banana Brain, very, very strong AI, has whooped my butt countless times on on the Snail ladder. Snail being the StarCraft human and AI ladder. Banana Brain starting at the bottom right of Circuit Breakers, and then Tier Protoss spawning at the top right, as of course the blue Protoss. So PvP, oh, that's not good. Okay, interesting. I thought that the replay bugged, but this is maybe designated builder probe, question mark. This probe's going out to scout. I don't like the designated builder probe. One of the advantages of being Protoss is that you can go back to mine and do other things after you place a building, but it seems to be that this is the solution that was chosen. We do have a probe chasing. We actually now have two probes chasing. Are we going to be able to catch? I don't think so. There's a lot of lost economy time for Tier Protoss, already two supply behind Banana Brain. However, obviously, Tier Protoss, having made it here, has to have done so for a reason, and therefore there must be something about its play. Here we're seeing a cannons at the front. If you were present for the last game, I'm sorry, for the last PvP in the previous broadcast by Nightcat, it was Purple Wave versus Mad Mix P. This reminds me of that series because cannons at the ramp to be defensive, while the opponent's going for tech and a robotics facility, and then Reavers kill cannons. So kind of feels like a hard counter, especially now that Banana Brain is so far ahead in supply. After that questionable building probe, after the building probe situation, after opening cannon. Of course, Tier Protoss is going to survive, but is this a winning position? The only way I can see this turning into a winning position would have been possibly Dark Templar into expansion, banking on the fact that even if the opponent has a robo, that doesn't mean that they have an observatory. And actually, we're going for more gateways, is Banana Brain, going for the Mass Dragoon meta instead of going for Reavers here. Which it should still be better than cannons into gateways and zealots, but it's not going to have such an easy time pushing up, especially if it overcommits and starts losing health. We are seeing a third gateway and a gas come up, so speed lot counterattack could actually be kind of devastating. Speed lots coming out at the wrong time can hurt Dragoons a lot before there's a significant mass. However, AI are also very good at kiting, and Banana Brain's no exception. I was about to say, we do want to get an observatory eventually, because if it does turn into Dark Templar, having no observatory could be a fatal mistake. So far, though, it seems that Tier Protoss is content to keep the Zealots circling the pylon at the natural, the builder probe, of course, chilling and supervising the work area. Dragoons are posting up outside the natural to prevent any massive units from going down. Ramps act as a natural choke point through which you can't just run out and encircle your enemy quite easily, even with speed zealots. Speaking of speed zealots, we are actually getting robotics facility. Is that a robotics support bay? Sorry, robotics support bay from Banana Brain. So it is going to be Reavers. We still have no real advanced tech for Tier Protoss. It's going to be Zealots into Dragoons. I mean, the army count is similar, I think. Let's take a look. 7 Dragoons and 2. Yeah, so 9 to 12. But I do favor the Dragoon heavy army because of the kiting potential and the fact that there's no speed. There is +1 on the way for end range on the way for Tier Protoss. Observer speed on the way, which is an interesting choice. I guess you do want to keep up with those Dark Templar. However, we're going up to 4 Nexus now, Banana Brain is, and that is just an impressive amount of pressure. I mean, Banana Brain knows how much Tier Protoss can produce off of one base, and as long as they keep up with that number, or at least have enough to combat that number, and obviously keeping tabs with the Observer as well, they can be greedy using their map control and using the fact that they have a defensible choke point here and get extremely far ahead in worker count. If you'll notice here, 57 to 35 workers, so even though this push is looking kind of scary, I feel like Banana Brain should be able to hold this, especially due to the fact that the Dragoons are pathing through this bridge. You see the issues with pathing here, the fact that their slow lots also not helping out a lot, but the fact that they're retreating now also a little bit questionable. Retreating to the cannons is a good move here. Pulling a probe in order to body block, or maybe that was just an accident. But yeah, actually, Tier Protoss is doing significant damage, but with such a heavy economic lead, I think that it might not even matter. First Reaver coming out now finally, and absorbing losses. You know, you can afford to lose 10 workers if you're a Banana Brain here. And the question is, what is going to be the follow-up plan for both players here? I mean, looks like it's another Nexus for Banana Brain. Looks like that has been held or is about to be held. Reaver now coming in the shuttle. Needs to be able to get down there to fire some shots. Is scared of having the shuttle sniped by the enemy. It's not microing quite that well right now due to probably all the congestion at the ramp here. Uh, might be the best possible engagement for tier Protoss right now is this ramp situation with the running probes around and the slow zealots and stuff, but finally the numbers are whittled down. And even though tier Protoss is taking a third base, has successfully, I guess, I mean, the strategy looks like it succeeded, quote unquote, but now it's going to be the pain is going to start. It's 70 workers to 43, 125 to supply to 67, and I think that this is just going to be a counterattack into GG. Pros being pulled to fight while a Reaver's present never feels great. And also still Zealots. Do we have speed on those yet? That's research. Brown has speed, but blue does not. So yeah, those are still slow lots. Some observers do go down though. But yeah, this game, it feels like it's basically over due to the 5 base versus 5 base versus 3 base economic lead. Look at that floating minerals. Banana Brain also soon going to be superior enough army, and actually, yeah, with Storm in the mix, we're starting to see the difference makers here with Reaver Storm. Very devastating. Each Reaver has their own shuttle. That's one of my favorite things of Banana Brain to watch is this double Reaver, double shuttle, excuse me, play. Man, I forgot what it's like to talk for like an hour and a half straight or whatever. Well, I mean, we're not at an hour and a half, we're at 51 minutes, but still, we're making good time. We're making good time. In the interest of making better time, we are going to speed this up though, because I think we were in a little bit of bot limbo there, and I think we know where this game is going at this point. Reavers and Storm, Reavers and Storm. Yep, nice storming. Very patient push. I would have definitely A-moved a very long time ago, but that is also why I lose to this monster 3 shuttle, 3 Reaver stuff. And of course the cannons are going to prove annoying as well, especially on a ramp, as we all know, Brood War stuff, AI hands. But yeah, this is, oh, now even Arbiter's in the mix, sexy. Okay. Yeah, it's over. It's been over. GG. Banana Brain goes up 1-0 against tier Protoss, and now we're moving on to Eye of the Storm. Is this Eye, or is this Empire of the Sun? Oof. Would have been great if I knew what this said. I mean, I can read it, I just don't remember what it says. Alright, I'm going to say that it's Empire of the Sun. And, yeah, Empire of the Sun, for sure. And Banana Brain spawning at the bottom right of Empire of the Sun as the red Protoss, and tier Protoss spawning as the brown Protoss at the bottom left, again with the designated builder probe already behind an economy as a result of it. I just wanted to point out the consistency of it. And Gateway first versus Forge first yet again, 2 probes chasing the probe yet again, all contributing to the same falling behindness compared to Banana Brain's much more optimized, much more human-like opener. It's obviously nice to think about like what would an AI conceivably do, like if they could create their own build orders. But at the same time, there's been 20 years of human history, you know. I'm gonna skip that track. Sorry, I forgot that this is the weird StarCraft OST. I apologize for that. I'm gonna start this one from the start though. Anyway, there's been 25 years of human ingenuity going into these build orders like Gateway Cyber, no, sorry, Gateway Gas Cyber, and yeah, I mean, there's a reason for them. There's a reason why they work. There's a reason why they're the gold standard in their matchup, and we're seeing a very similar build, but definitely with a better, I guess, choke point here. Dragoons would still be able to do a lot of damage here, though. He could actually start punishing these right now, I think, although 4 Zealots is starting to get to the scarier point. On the other hand, though, Banana Brain was a little bit too greedy last game. Like, there was no need for there to be such an army difference that tier Protoss managed to make it into the natural of Banana Brain. Going for the fast third Nexus is nice, especially when your opponent's on 1 Nexus, but do you really need 4 Nexus when your opponent's on 1 Nexus? I think the answer is no. I think you can focus more on army and just, you know, just crush them that way instead of going full boomer eco mode, you know. looks like Tier Protoss is waiting until they get to that critical point. In the meantime, we do have Citadel coming up, observers coming out of the observatory, where we have the robotics support bay from Banana Brain, and the observer is going to see what's going on here. Very similar to last game. Notably, no ramp also, so no high ground advantage here. So yeah, that could happen. Also, having vision is helpful with the observer. But again, the army count is just it's a little lacking from Banana Brain. I still favor again the 9 Dragoons, 3 Zealots against 9 Zealots, 7. Well, maybe not 7, not 7 anymore. But yeah, could be producing a lot more army, and the fact that supplies are quite even despite a 16 worker deficit as a result. So yeah, maybe a little too ambitious with the eco openers. I can definitely see some potential for abuse here. Like if Banana Brain played this way against me, I would definitely try to come up with some sneaky stuff to do against it. But then again, I also wouldn't be opening Forge first, so maybe Banana Brain would crush me in a different way, which, I mean, again, has happened before. And we're kind of in a similar position as last game, fighting outside the range of Dragoons, fighting in an awkward choke point with an inferior army. There's only 2 cannons here. The lack of a ramp could actually be a little bit more dangerous for Tier Protoss. And I forgot that we have to skip this track. We got Reaver on the front though, so Reaver is going to be great defensively here. This is where Reaver really shines. It's behind cannons, behind Dragoons, taking out enemy Dragoons. I say this as this Reaver has not shot once. There we go, finally a shot. That's going to take it down. We have our 5th Nexus here, by the way. Everything according to plan. But this Nexus is actually going down, so interesting diversion from the original plan, I guess. Cannons are getting cancelled as soon as they're placed. But yeah, these Zealots are going to get cleaned up. In the meantime, Observer's well aware of what's going on Tier Protoss' base. And now it's time for the counterattack, and I have a feeling that it's going to go very similar to the last game. So I'm going to just speed it up here, because I feel like we don't need to see a repeat of last time. You know what, might as well just watch the beautiful Reaver micro. Oh, so sexy. I don't like how it's unloading always facing the wrong way. I don't know if that's something that you can control. Maybe a frame perfect directional input would be better, because I do know that the Scarab does originate like from the front of the Reaper. You want it to be facing the right way. Faster firing is always better. And yeah, this is going to be another crushing defeat for Tier Protoss, unfortunately. Banana Brain just too good. Been in the scene for a while, been crushing people for a while. And yeah, now we got 2 Reavers, 2 shuttles, probes being pulled into a what a bloodbath. Ugh, it hurts my Protoss soul to see that. Oh, disgusting. And yeah, I mean, there is a Nexus here, but you know, what's going to happen? It's over. Game 3. Game 3 is going to be on Tau Cross. We have Tier Protoss spawning as the green Protoss at the 1 o'clock base on Tau Cross. And around 9 o'clock, we have Banana Brain as the brown Protoss. And again, we have the Builder Probe. We're going to name him Juan. I don't know why, I just feel like it. We have a Forge. We have a Gateway. I feel like I've seen this movie before. It was just on a different era, different map. Actually, as soon as I say that, I'm pleasantly surprised to see a 2-gate. Now, cannons could actually... oh, look at that. Canceled the gateway, added the gas. This is building adaptation at its finest. No probe harass, though, I think, this game, right? So I think that that would put Tier Protoss a little bit more economically ahead. But again, look at the eco difference, right? Army, 1 Zealot, right? 15 workers to 10 workers within the first 3 minutes. That is a big difference. That's 50% eco difference. Yes, you're quote-unquote safe against potential Zealot rushes and stuff, but if your opponent's not Zealot rushing, then what? Then you're just behind, right? Well, let's see how it plays out. Interesting cyber placement. Can't say it would have been my first choice, but it does work as a choke of some sort. 2 gateways, pylon. I like the fact that it's 2 gateways instead of like going, well, I say that, but yeah. I like the fact that it's 2 gateways just in case there's some sort of 2-gate follow-up from Tier Protoss, which so far, I mean, there technically has been. Juan's still supervising. I like how it's also, I think, like the same building formation almost as the first game. Showing some consistency here. Okay, tried to poke in, not going to, is going to see that there's no opportunity for attack here. Now is going to add the robotic support bay in response to the cannons, and yeah, we're going to be seeing a very similar game here, I feel. Observers on the way, third nexus is done, probably going to be a fourth nexus here or here. Here. That's actually a kind of ballsy fourth nexus, because if there was some sort of drop shenanigans happening, that could be dangerous. But also a very tight choke here as well, and no high ground advantage for tier Protoss. This is going to work against them. Looks like Banana Brain, though. I mean, let's look at the army situation again. It's going to be very similar. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, tier Protoss does have the army advantage. Zealots are getting in the way of the Dragoon micro, so they are taking a lot of pot shots on the way there. Yeah, so as you notice, like the army difference grew as Banana Brain was retreating. However, there is a Reaver now. Defensive Reaver with the cannons, we discussed this. It's a great thing to have. Those probes are going down. It doesn't matter. We have a 30 probe lead, and yeah, the baller Reaver micro is going to take down that army. And yeah, I have a feeling that tier Protoss is not long for this world, my friends. Nice storm. I think killed his own observer though. No big deal. 2 shuttles, 2 Reavers, and yeah, that's a wrapperoni. Well, Banana Brain is just too good. That's really what it boils down to. And you know, even minor inefficiencies get punished very heavily, I think. I'm sure that it's not the bot author's intention. Oh my god, carriers this time? But yeah, definitely mixing it up now. Banana Brain is stunted on this Protoss player, so yeah. Unfortunately, gets stunted on tier Protoss. Banana Brain 3-0. And we're moving on to our final match of the day, which I forgot to look what it was. Beta Star versus Willy. And actually, I knew that, but I didn't know where it was in the replay folder. Okay. So, before we jump right into this game, I actually had an intro that I wrote out to prove the fact that I did know what we were doing. We have Beta Star against Willy T. This time, a rematch from 2 years ago, so the 2020 to 2021 tour, where Beta Star took the series 3-0. Let's see if Willy T can reverse their fortunes here and claim revenge. So, Pylon Scout from Beta Star, quite standard. Not standard against Terran, but standard for AI. This is something that I was mentioning, or starting to mention earlier. Wait, Willy T? Yeah, okay, sorry. I got my names mixed up a little bit. Scouting early is something that AI love to do, because they would rather react and be quote-unquote behind economically, but know what they're facing up against, rather than maximizing their economic position and going off of intuition the way that humans do. And of course that has hurt humans in the past, but we also have seen a lack of eco hurt humans in the past as well. So it's interesting that that's how the meta developed in the AI scene, is that early scouting is good, early eco is not. Or, well, obviously early eco is good always, but it's not as much high of a priority as information. So yeah, both players circling the enemy base. We are going for Zealot production to start with a Cybernetics core. So Zealot core Zealot, very standard opener, and very strong against human players in particular, because they have to micro their Marines, and microing Marines is difficult. However, with a bunker at the front, there won't be any Marine micro. I don't think the bunker at the front is even necessary, but is this blocking the add-on? No, we're good, right? Yeah, we have to be good. Yeah, there we go. Okay. No problems here. So overall, one of the more standard games we've seen so recently on this event. Going into 3-gate Dragoon, that is not standard. So the typical Terran response to this play is you make one siege tank with siege mode, and suddenly 3-gate Dragoon can't hurt you anymore. That is the power of high ground. That is the power of Terran. And Willy T, if memory serves correct from the broadcasts I've had, is a big fan of the siege tank. I've seen, if I recall, like an army of like 50 siege tanks or something pushing across the map. So in this case, we have factory, eBay, factory. So definitely very safe. A build that you often see with siege tank openers is fac expand, siege expand, and then you add the eBay after you start the command center, and that way you're very safe. You do have enough dragoons. I'm sorry, you do have enough siege tanks to hold off the dragoons. But look at these. Look at this army. It's like aggressively pushing forward and ate a bunch of damage for it. Probably not accustomed to this map and the way that these high grounds work. These high grounds are really, really strong for Zealot. And look, we're losing more stuff. I feel like an expansion is in the near future of Willy T, and this is kind of an exaggerated example of why 3-gate Dragoon outright loses to Siege Tank play. Um, we have 4-gate Dragoon now, actually. No intention of expansion yet. I definitely would have liked to see... If I saw this as a Protoss player, I would add 2 Nexuses, I think. 2 Nexi? Nexuses? I think I remember there being discussion about what's the proper way to say it, but I'm going to go with Nexuses. Yeah, definitely want to expand against defensive Terran play, which this absolutely is. But this defensive Terran play is somewhat deceptive. We are on 3 factories on 1 base now, and we're pumping straight up siege tanks. Siege tanks are really good, and Beta Star has been hemorrhaging army for a little bit now. Worker count and economy has been equal. It's going to shift slightly to Beta Star, and I like the fact that they added a probe at least. I would like to see more probes added so they can be transferred right away. But yeah, the siege tank mass, once it gets high enough, is going to be able to 1A, 2A, 3A across the map, I think. Or in AI's case, A, basically. Like, they control every unit individually. There's no group commands for most types of bots as far as I understand it. So yeah, they just control every unit individually, and they're just going to A-move every single tank across the map, especially if Beta Star keeps hemorrhaging units like this. Let's see. Beta Star, yep, I saw that little impulse. It showed a little sign. Yep, there we go. I knew it was coming. So every time, I mean, Beta Star is still ahead in supply, which is something that Terran players complain about all the time. But then again, all of that supply is based, well, more than all of that supply is in worker difference. However, I do think that Willy T might be letting the opportunity slip by being so passive here. You know, you could have taken your expansion a long time ago with this army, I think. Obviously, it's scary when Protoss is running around next to your natural, but you do have a F-ton of siege tanks, and yeah, now we're finally getting some forward progress here towards the natural. You don't want to be expanding when your main is going to be mining out. And in the meantime, I mean, Beta Star did get up to 3 bases. So, and yeah, finally we have the siege tanks. They're positioning themselves here. Actually kind of far. I would have liked to see all this stuff over here. And then siege tank here, 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 here. Use like the terrain to your advantage, you know? Dragoon and Zealot scouting for hidden sneaky expos if there are any. It seems that we are going to be stopping at Citadel Tech for now, and we're adding more gateways. Citadel Tech is generally not enough to take down a teched up Terran army, but we're also not getting upgrades, which, oh, that's because we already have +1. But yeah, as Terran, when you get to 3-3, with each upgrade, you get more ahead of the Protoss than the Protoss gets ahead of you. That's because I think Protoss gets something like +2 to every attack upgrade for their Zealots and Dragoons, whereas Siege Tanks, I believe, get like +3 and +5 for Siege Mode or something like that. Something absurd. Something that no normal person would ever put in a game, right, Blizzard? Just kidding. Yeah, it's the meme on the siege tank, which with its arc light cannons can shoot across the entire map, and it does the damage equivalent of a nuke, basically. But yeah, I think you're starting to see what Willy T's long-term goals are and how scary this army is getting. Because in terms of army supply, we're basically even, but I see that basically almost all Dragoons are being pumped, and Dragoons against sieged up tanks is not a good match. So even with 4 bases, it might be to the point where the Terran has such a big ball of army that the Dragoons can't really do anything about it. So while these 2 AI seem to be content to be building up, we can speed up for a little bit, keep our eye on the action here. Do we see any tech coming forward from the Protoss player? No Templar tech, no StarGate, both of which are extremely crucial in taking out the enemy when you're facing up against Terran, because a straight up, you know, mashing armies together in the middle of the map, the Protoss is almost always going to lose against equal numbers if the positioning is good enough, right? Obviously, Terran players will disagree because they don't know how to position their tanks and they get Zealots dropped on their face. But yeah, even with 6 base, yeah, look at that goon soup right here. You can't do anything about that. And suddenly the supplies are back to even now. Even though Willy T is only on 27 workers, that also, if you think about it, allows them to create one of the craziest armies you've ever seen. You know, removing all the resources from one base at a time. I hate the fact that that thing comes out when I do that. Even has a depot to wall. Now Willy T has the army advantage, and because they only have 27 workers, that means that their army supply is going to be 173. So if normally a Protoss player struggles to fight against an army of equal supply, you can only imagine what's going to happen when it's an army of superior supply. Though, that Zealots did get on top there for a while, and as long as more production facilities are added, we are up to 14 gateways. You definitely want to be, when you're on 5-6 bases, you want to be on like 25-30 gateways, so you can remax your whole army right away. And Willy T could be in trouble if they don't find a way to expand here. I do see that dropship heading this way. It's vultures. Could have been nice with siege tanks. But yeah, look at that production from Beta Star. But look at... So this is the definition of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object, where Willy T is obviously the immovable object, and Beta Star is the unstoppable force, just pumping army nonstop. But yeah, I've seen this play out before, and unless Beta Star goes heavily for arbiters or carriers or storm even, could be good. I have a feeling that Willy T is going to squeeze this one out just by pure power of siege tanks. Needs to be careful not to not to stray too far forward from the mass. Oh my god, it's so brutal to watch. Jeez. Oh man, yeah. So still army supply for Willy T, but look at how little he has to reproduce every time. Oh my god, so much thrown out there. And look at the economy difference. Oh my god, Willy T is long distance mining. More dropships seem to be going on at the same time, but though that's why the probes are being added. 75 workers, 98 army. Maxed Beta Star is going to try to smash in here again. And remember, Willy T did lose 3-0 in the last time they met in the first round of SSCAIT 2 years ago. So maybe this has played out before. Maybe I just don't remember that Willy T does not come out ahead after all this. But so far, I'm not so sure. Would have been definitely nice to have a third base right around now if you're Willy T, or maybe a fourth base. Would have been nice to move out after one of the major suicides from Beta Star when the supplies were more equal. But now Willy T's actually army count is not climbing quite as fast. I mean, it's still only 3 factory. And now there's SCVs and Dragoons and Zealots pressuring here, so the push is just never materializing. I think that this gateway, which is good defensively, is actually contributing to that, because this is an important area to have your siege tanks. Having some siege tanks here would be great also. But that's very map specific, so you would have to code specifically for it. And yeah, every time Willy T steps out here, he gets pushed right back. And I think that that's what Protoss do. I don't think there's enough resources on the map for the what's called for Willy T to starve out Beta Star. So even though Beta Star is run out of a lot of bases, I think there's 4 mined out bases, almost 5, soon to be 6 mined out bases. There's still 3 more, and Willy T doesn't really have an ego to write home about, right? But Beta Star is starting to struggle for money. Look at that, no remax. So yeah, the economy situation is actually looking pretty grim for Beta Star. I didn't expect this. Long distance mining here is going to be on 2 bases though, so that's not so bad. The 9 SCVs though are not really there's no more money coming in for Willy T, which is also concerning. So, oof, yeah, I didn't realize the supply difference. Ugh, yeah, those 2 extra bases are going to mean a lot. So I think that Willy T is really close to the right idea, just not pulling the trigger at the right time, you know? And not pulling the trigger in maybe the right way. Meanwhile, Beta Star, I think, I don't want to say it has the wrong idea, because obviously a lot of Protoss units is very good. Protoss units are good. Having a lot of bases is good, but the addition of slightly more complex and definitely harder to code stuff like Arbiters, Templars, Shuttles, Carriers would basically crush this style of play outright, I think. And that's, I mean, win is win though, honestly, right? At the end of the day, and I don't mean to sound disparaging, but like these bot authors don't actually have to play their own games, you know what I mean? Like they don't sit there sweating for 40 minutes, eliminating a Terran that is just turtled the hell up. Like that to me is one of the most frustrating things in this game, is fighting against a Terran that is just balled up inside their base, their 3 bases, making a death army that they're going to march across the map and you can't do anything about it. So that's why you're kind of like forced to learn how to transition into arbiter, transition into carrier, how to use shuttles, how to prevent stuff, how to stop Terran ball, right? But AI authors, they don't care. These games get played in like under a minute or something probably, and they don't have to sweat. It can happen while they're asleep. Beta Star going for, I should probably slow that down, yeah. So we're on Fighting Spirit, Beta Star spawning at the top left of Fighting Spirit as the purple Protoss, and Willy T spawning as the teal Terran at the bottom right. And yeah, interesting barracks placement. One thing that I've noticed is that a lot of AI, they don't really care where their buildings go, but there's also some secret things which you might not ever assume you would if you just know about human play. For example, there was a time when, if I recall correctly, a lot of production facilities were placed in the back so that they could finish in time before Zerglings arrived or something to kill the pylon or something, or before, like, to kill the SCV that is building it, because it takes longer to get there. It is just safer to be in the back of your base, so that's why sometimes production is placed in the back. To be fair, it's also a shorter walking distance than putting it at the front. But yeah, generally speaking on TVP, what you would want to do is to make a sim city, as they call it, which would be something like, I don't know, barracks depot, where the marine can run back and forth, but the zealots can't, you know, and protect your gas, protect your future factory. But no need here. So far we have very standard 3 gateway. Okay, I'm not going to say very standard. Standard for AI world, 3 gateway on one base, and make that 4 gateway on one base. Against, it looks like it's going to be a very similar thing. 3 factory. Oh no, factory eBay, of course. Into mass siege tank. So I'm going to preemptively speed this up because I think we know where this is headed. Because we know that one player only makes zealots and dragoons, and the other player basically only makes siege tanks, like a couple Goliaths defensively. So yeah, we're going to see something very similar here, I think. Yeah, the dragoons can't push up there. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. The high ground is a little bit less favorable, but still very good, and still easy to take control of a natural if you place your siege tanks here. I don't know how easy it is to hard code, like, put your tanks here, but making it reasonable, which, like, the more I talk about it, the more I realize it sounds like it's very difficult. But I wish that it would be easier to just say, hey, park, like, 2 tanks here and you can get a free natural, right? You don't have to sit on 24 workers for the next X amount of time. And, yeah, finally, Nexus for Beta Star. I think that too could be faster too. Once you see your opponent is doing this, you can kind of be like, okay, I'll take the rest of the map then if you're just going to sit on one base. But yeah, I think we all know that this is where the action is going to be. I mean, the dropships are nice, but the cannons from Beta Star, of course, are good. Yes, we got a siege tank in the right position. We got a siege tank in almost the right position. See, this is the jump that is too far forward, right? This is the over-aggressive step. There needs to be some sort of realization that, like, this provides cover, and that you kind of need to leapfrog, right? Like, you need to put 1 tank here, then you can put 1 here, maybe 1 here if you're being super careful. Or you can put 2 here, and then 2 here, and then 2 here, or something, right? You need to gradually make your way out. Just sending 1 tank or 2, even 2 tanks at a time like this is a little bit suspicious and definitely slows down that expansion path. But of course, very easiest for us to say as reasoning human beings and not cold AI produced by, you know. Oh, see, I like that one. That was a really good one. Look at this position. This is impenetrable, and I like this barracks too. Command center is up, and we're actually there a little early. It doesn't look like we're going to add too many extra SCVs, though. 30 is the number for now. Goliaths, Vultures, and Marines are out here to fight. And yeah, this is actually, I think, a better choke for Willy T. But Beta Star, of course, up to 6 bases already. Not that it changes things. I mean, I wonder if maybe on a map with less bases this would be different. Ooh, I saw some long distance mining there. I thought that maybe a command center would be set up there. Okay. Alright, we're gonna slow down now because we're seeing the first, like, really concerted push from Willy T in a while. And I have seen these just dominating. Oh my god, dude, that is disgusting, dude. What the hell? Look at the army supply of Willy T now at 86, and look, and he's like, okay, now I just need to make out, like, you know, like, I need to replace the 5 tanks I lost when my enemy lost about 50 supply of army, you know, like you just push in that moment. I mean, I guess when you have 3 factory production as opposed to what would be standard for human play would be like nine factory, 8 factory or so. Yeah, then it actually is scary to lose a couple of siege tanks, especially because you're low on eco, right? But I think that you just kind of push there, right? Because look, now the army supplies are even, and but I guess you're not even close to maxed, and Beta Star is going to start sending an army. And look, so 74 to 48 army push and take the third base, right? But again, I do want to stress how it's so much easier for me to talk, and it sounds so it sounds like I'm judging them. I'm just offering alternatives that I think would be better, but I know that are difficult to do. So not trying to judge what the bot authors have created here is something that I would never be able to do. They would be able to be better than me at StarCraft much faster than I would be able to be better. That I would be able to make an AI better than their AI in StarCraft. So can't talk shit. Just hoping to see Willy T finally mount a push that is going to put some pressure on Beta Star, because it feels like it's so close to doing it. Like it feels like it just needs that one little push to get to that spot where Willy T could just crush Beta Star. Honestly, in the first game, I thought that Willy T was going to win that game. But knowing that it's historically 3-0 and seeing the way that Willy T is now starting to lose some siege tank count, it seems. At least that's what it looks like. Definitely stuck here as well to some extent. Like it feels like it's just never going to amount, like never going to result in that deathly push that it's capable of. And the fact that it still is only on one base too. I mean, obviously it's easier to defend one choke, but Fighting Spirit offers a great way to defend this choke. You go depot, siege tanks, command center. And that should be able to hold even easier than here. And then over here you go barracks, eBay, turret, siege tanks all around here. And then you would be able to have a 3-base economy. And you can max out, and then you can move out, and then you win the game. And of course, upgrades are important too. We have only 1-1 for both players. Definitely more important for Terran, but 3-3 would be absolutely fantastic here. But obviously, gas is the constraining factor when you only have access to 2 gases, right? And you're only building siege tanks. You will never be able to afford to go for science facility, +2, etc., etc. And we actually, I don't think we're seeing a dropship this time either, are we? Oh no, just as I say that, there's a dropship dropping an SCV. Yeah, I think the writing is on the wall now. There's too much money on the map for Beta Star to not win this, I guess is what it boils down to, right? Although, yeah, see, like that one chipped away 14 supply of army. The next engage is gonna chip away 14 more, maybe? No, just 8. You know, and this is how it happens. Just a slow, gradual, the passage of time that chips away at all of us. 54. Okay, now that the army is really Dragoon heavy though, like these losses are getting a little absurd. And we have mined out 4 bases already, yeah, but no, we're making progress. It's now 34 army for Willy T, 0 minerals, and I have a feeling that soon is going to be over. I feel kind of bad for Willy T. I feel like Willy T could be able to beat some other AIs in tournament, and I feel like obviously that's proven because of the fact that they made it here. That means that they made it past the round robin stage. I would like to see some Willy T wins, you know, and I do remember one that I casted on this channel, I think over a year ago now, where Willy T on Jade just crushed it with an insane like 150 supply army. I want to see that Willy T, the old Willy T. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm sure the new Willy T is improved in other ways. And actually, here is Jade for game 3. Beta Star again, 2 up against Willy T. Beta Star spawning at the bottom right of Jade, scanning that 9 pylon scout. Bottom left is Willy T as the purple Terran. Also sending a depot scout. Is going to find their opponent on the first try. The Protoss is not. It went for a Z scout, I think. Well, in this case it goes dun dun dun, so it's not exactly a Z scout. It's more like an N scout or like one of those Viking glyphs or something. And I have a strong suspicion that we're going to see something very similar to the games that we've seen so far here. We're seeing 3 pylon, 1 gate. Are we going to see a second gateway now? Or is it going to be Nexus? Ooh, okay. Everyone quiet down. We have a Citadel Nexus. This is a DT rush. I'm gonna guess, and this is what I asked for from Beta Star in the previous game. I was like, we need higher tech units, and this is. I. It's funny that I make it sound like they're listening and then they're adjusting as they're listening to me. Obviously, it's already been in the code this whole time, and this is probably the optimal approach that Beta Star has chosen against Willy because it always wins the macro approach that it's been doing so far. But on this map with the reverse ramp, this map is very difficult for Terran to expand on. Because of that reverse ramp, even with siege mode, it actually applied some damage, so now the Terran is behind on minerals a little bit. Siege tank is going to try and move up, but it's shooting up, so it has less accuracy, does less damage. Dragoons shooting down are perfectly accurate, going to do the right amount of damage. And yeah, this is going to be DT, and this is where the engineering bay is going to come into play here, right? And the turret too, defensively, very nicely done by Willy to place that turret there. It would almost be worth it, I think, if you could make enough Dragoons and or Zealots. Oh, it's going to be DT drop. Oh, I should have been paying attention. Oh, but the SCV is aware of this too. Yeah, it's definitely aware now that it's been swiped by DT. Yeah, so a shuttle is going to drop the DT in the main base, and we already see a defensive turret. But if that turret goes down, there's probably only going to be like 1 or 2 scans here, right? But the DTs are just chasing the SCV. Questionable, sus. Okay, no, we're loading them up now. It's time to go push. Willy T, of course, content to stay on one base. That also makes it easier to keep your detection alive, because I think that siege tank is like barely in range of that turret, maybe. But here comes the drop, and there's actually 2 turrets here. Is it? What? It lost. Oh no. Oh no. It lost all 4 zealots while doing 0 damage. And this is the opening for Willy T. We didn't waste the scan, so we're building up scan. Oh no, I think we did. Yeah, that looks like it's less than 50. It looks like a scan went down as soon as the DT landed. Unfortunate. So yeah, definitely can't move out now because there is a threat of DTs being on the high ground, and you can't engage against those. Now we're just going straight zealots. Are we getting speed? Yeah, we already have speed. Why is the production from Willy T stalled out though? We're floating a ton of minerals. I guess gas restraints. I mean, actually, both players are banking up a lot of resources, aren't they? Well, no, but we're still producing. We're still fine. Definitely need more gateways to pump. But yeah, Willy T, I think, struggling to move out here. Oh, an interesting bug here where the SVs got stuck there. Yeah. DT up on the high ground, lots of bases, and this is going to be where we're fighting again. And yeah, again, this time is a lot closer for sure. Would have maybe preferred to see it here or here. Definitely the tank more here. You can place it like right here and get beautiful coverage. You can actually, with this siege tank, you can prevent them from coming up this ramp. But yeah, when you're on one gas and you're slowly producing 1 tank at a time, it's going to take a while. But what do we have in this dropship? I'm guessing it's going to be 4 vultures, but we already have 2 cannons here again. Yeah, I'm missing. Oh, okay, turret went down. But that actually somehow prompted Willy T to come up and take that natural though. So that's good. And now we're gonna start going into the meat grinder again. Oh, but actually no, we made a lot of forward progresses again. Yeah, again, so the point being here, reverse ramp, very hard for Terran to hold. And actually it's going to be a straight up bust by Beta Star. What? Disgusting. After a failed DT drop, that's just the power of this map. And yeah, fortunately for Willy T, they ran into their tournament nemesis in Beta Star, and it looks like it's going to be a 3-0 yet again. However, it's important to note that our journey does not end for these players. Next week, or rather, yeah, next week, next Saturday, you will be joining me. I'll be casting McRave versus Ironbot, Xiao Yi versus Madmix, Microwave versus Halpan, and Tier Protoss versus Willy T. So we'll see if Willy T's approach can work against a different Protoss player, one that's actually lower rated than them. I think that could be a promising win. Shut up. And yeah, and tomorrow, at the same time as today, at the same time as usual, you will be greeted by Nightcat. I don't know why sometimes. I guess my brain. Alright, I'm gonna shut up. Anyway, Krazio versus Dragon, bound to be a banger. Stardust versus Purple Wave, classic. Monster versus Steam Hammer, also going to be interesting. And Banana Brain versus Beta Star, another interesting matchup. So I believe I'm pretty sure that Nightcat's going to do all four of these. So this is a star-studded lineup right here for sure. So do look forward to that tomorrow, and I'll see you guys in exactly a week, and I'll be casting losers round one. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. I hope you guys are enjoying SSCAIT. We do broadcasts all year round. We don't do a tournament all year round, but it's a once a year thing. But we do other things. We watch highlights, we discuss games, we discuss AI. If you're a fan of any of the above, including StarCraft, come check us out at our Discord channel. It's in the description below. And beyond that, I guess that's it for me. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.